Howdy, friends. So I'm wearing my second or third, I guess, new hat. Trust God and chill. And I thought that this was a perfect video to talk about this in. So just before the Feast of Trumpets, I did a video that said, getting your hopes up about Feast of Trumpets. And it was in the picture. The Feast of Trumpets has got not one thing to do with the rapture of the church or of the start or the end of the 70th week. People say, well, just because it doesn't have anything to do with the start or the end doesn't mean it can't have anything to do with the rapture. Well, it doesn't, because there's no gap. And that's a whole separate conversation. But I went through all of that, and it's very simple. Very, very simple. The weeks of years, of which Daniel's 70 are, begin on Nisan 10. Every single one of them. That is bookmarked in Nehemiah 2 and Matthew 21 for the start of the end of the first 69. And it's bookmarked in Ezekiel 40 and Joel 2 for the start and the end of the 70th in the first month. Specifically, Ezekiel's vision given on the beginning of the year and the 10th day of the month. Anyway, Feast of Trumpets has got nothing to do with it. So, after I've just made a bunch of people mad by saying that, I got a question. And it's such a great question. Wonder why all of the economy crashes are around Feast of Trumpets and 9/11. And I think that, without naming names, I'm going to name names, Jonathan Cahn popularized this whole idea of the Shemitah, which, to give him credit, it did help underscore the sabbatical cycles and the Jubilee, and actually got me interested in researching this, because I'm like, okay, this is a legitimate thing, but his timing is way, way off, because he's a Mr. Fall Feast of Trumpeter person. So that part of it's off. But the fact that the sabbatical cycles and the Jubilee are important to the end times is not off. And so that actually got me interested in the study of that, so I will thank him for that. However, in his book, The Shemitah, he's talking about the economic collapses and all this and the Shemitah years. His starting point's way off, so his 7th years being the year of release and the 7th year in these sabbatical cycles are all off. And it's all based on a faulty premise, which is the American economic system, more popularly known as like the Dow Jones. And first of all, America is not Israel. America didn't replace Israel. America has got not one thing to do with Israel. Now, is it the national global leader in many different sectors? Yes. But the timing of the end times isn't centered around or centered on America or the economic system in America or the Dow Jones. It's centered on Israel. And so these economic collapses, trying to be tied into this Shemitah, but again, his starting point's off, so his year 7s are off also. And he's tying it into this economic stuff in the fall. So we got people thinking that Feast of Trumpets is our time because that's when all the collapses happen. So surely they must be intertwined. Well, let's think about this for a second. Let's just separate the whole Feast of Trumpets thing with the whole economic crashes in the fall type thing. Let's separate America and Israel, and let's separate religion and politics, because that's really what this goes to, is separating religion and politics. So let's look at America's political system, America's economic system. When does the fiscal year begin? In October. So if you've got agendas being set, a bunch of money coming available, and budgets needing to be done, and you're going to set an agenda for what you want that money to be used for, when are you going to create the problem? Right before the money becomes available, September. So that when it becomes available in October and you've got to earmark it and set your budgets for it, you have it available and you can politicize your agenda based on your economic factor. So really the fundamental answer to this question is, why do all these economic crashes happen in the fall around Feast of Trumpets and 9/11? It's got nothing to do with the religious aspect of it. It has everything to do with politics. And politics drives the American economy. So if you have money coming available in October and you want it to go toward your purpose, you are going to create a scenario that facilitates that in the path of least resistance. So September, you're going to create your problem. In October, you're going to have the funds available to correct your problem, and you just have to get enough people on board by December to make that happen. That's why economic crashes happen in September. Not because of the Feast of Trumpets or 9/11, because America's economic system is political. That's why.